Mercedes-Benz of Delray. Get the best for less than you'd expect. MercedesFLA.com.
10 years ago, Hurricane Wilma clobbered us. It was packing winds of more than 100 miles per hour when it made landfall. It tipped over boats. It knocked over trees.
It sounded bad. When that tree over there crashed, the whole house was shaking. It was just so scary.
It flooded roads and tore off roofs.
The roof came over the house, flipped twice, and landed just like that. I couldn't believe it.
Homes were turned to rubble.
It's unbelievable. It's just devastating.
Mobile homes to condos and just about everything in between were damaged.
I would evacuate next time.
It was deadly, killing 21 in Florida, and it was devastating for so many of the survivors. What will the hurricane season bring this year? Now, a News Channel 5 special, Surviving the Storm.
Welcome. Those who were here in 2005 know the power of Wilma and the importance of being prepared to survive a storm. During the next half hour, we'll be looking at storms and the steps you should start taking now to prepare for a hurricane. One of the many lessons Wilma taught us is that hurricanes can hit long after the peak of the storm season passes. Wilma formed in late October, hitting the U.S. as well as Mexico and Cuba, killing at least 62 people. In the United States, the most severe structural damage was in the Palm Beach and Broward County areas. More than 3 million Floridians lost power from the storm. Wilma was the 22nd named storm of the year. The signs this year point to a quieter year than we had in 2005, which follows a pattern that we've been in since Wilma, since we've got 9 seasons without a storm in Florida, and that's a record. We have a couple of weather things going on this year that could have a big impact on this year's hurricane season. El Nino trying to form, or it has formed, in the Pacific Ocean. This El Nino is strengthening too and could be one of the strongest on record. At least that's what some of the forecasts have. El Nino shifts the jet stream pattern, so as storms cross the Atlantic, they weaken very quickly, or they don't even have a chance to develop at all before they become a threat. In a well-developed, structurally a hurricane, we have a system with an eye wall, well-protected storm. When you introduce jet stream winds, that cuts into it and disrupts the airflow around the hurricane or the tropical storm and diminishes it quickly. So that's one of the things we're hoping for. Also colder than normal water temperatures off the coast of Africa this year. That could play a big part. Those water temperatures hopefully will stay below normal as we approach the peak of hurricane season. A little warmer off the U.S. East Coast, but that might have less of an effect here. All right, we never know when a system is going to develop into a hurricane, so you need to start preparing now, and that's especially true for those with medical conditions. Storm Team 5's Glenn Glazer explains it's not that difficult as long as you don't wait until the last minute.
News Channel 5's medical expert, Dr. David Soria, has been on duty for many hurricanes here in South Florida. And over the years, he's come up with some good advice for folks with medical conditions for how to weather a storm.
Number one, call your doctor. He or she will give you the best advice as far as what you should do, what you need to prepare for, and what things you should have in the house. Second thing is clearly medications. Right? Don't wait for your last 1 or 2 pills before you realize that, oh my gosh, the drugstores are closed and I'm not going to be able to get the refill.
And what about patients with more advanced needs?
Some of us require certain equipment. If you have emphysema or asthma, you need nebulizers. Those are powered by electricity. You need to be prepared. You need to know where you can go, or make sure you have the means to be able to have that nebulized medication in case you have an attack.
So now you know what it takes to get yourself prepared, but what does it take to get an entire hospital prepared for an incoming storm?
We know that we're going to have an increased volume of patients, so we make sure that we have the staff and the resources to be able to accommodate them.
Accommodate them means having the right specialists ready to handle storm-related injuries and having staff running in shifts so everyone is rested and alert. And for you at home, there's one final point that Dr. Soria wants to make.
If there's one good thing, and obviously hurricanes are not good, but if there was one good thing about one, and that's that we do get a warning, sometimes days. Take advantage of it. Call your doctor. Be prepared. Know the things that you as an individual or you with your family are going to require to maintain safety.
Glenn Glazer, WPTV, News Channel 5.
For more information on everything from the supplies you need before the hurricane hits to the list of hurricane shelters and steps to take after the storm passes, go to WPTV app or WPTV.com and click on the weather section and then the hurricane survival guide. We have it all there for you. We've all seen the pictures of screen enclosures and pools over patios pulled apart by a hurricane. Our consumer watchdog, Jen Strathman, has some options that could save you and some money and the structure in the future.
Screen enclosures dot the landscape of South Florida, but the relaxing patio oases can come crumbling down in a hurricane. Consider your options now before the storm hits.
These small holes don't allow enough air to pass through them during a storm, so pressure builds inside, which can cause the screen enclosure to weaken and eventually fall. So insurance experts tell you to do the unthinkable and cut your screens ahead of time.
And I warn homeowners of this because if that storm does not hit, you are stuck with a pretty expensive bill to replace the screen in that wall.
There's a new option on the market.
So we're going to pull at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Screen enclosures that pop out.
And that's how you do it.
They cost around $350 a panel, depending on the size.
It gives your screen enclosure a very good chance to survive the storm.
It's an investment, but consider the cost you'll have to pay if there's a hurricane. Most homes have a 2% deductible, and it's not based on your damage, but based on the insured value of your home. So on a $300,000 home, you're paying the first $6,000 in damage. That's before any insurance kicks in. And most policies won't cover any damage to screens, just the frame. It's a gamble either way, but something to think about before the storm hits the radar. I'm consumer watchdog Jen Strathman, fighting for you.
Hurricanes aren't the only bad weather systems we see in the summertime here in South Florida. We get our fair share of strong thunderstorms too. Storm Team 5's James Wieland reports on how they can develop into dangerous conditions and what you should be looking for.
When it comes to a thunderstorm, what separates the strong from the severe? Well, a severe thunderstorm is defined as capable of producing 58-mile-per-hour winds or higher and 1-inch hail, which is about the size of a quarter. A lot of clouds look scary, but are not severe. So how can you tell the difference? Here are some viewer photos that I found to help me illustrate. Scud clouds. These are the most commonly mistaken clouds for tornadoes. They can form from any garden variety thunderstorm and do not mean a tornado is near. Shelf cloud. A shelf cloud forms at the leading edge of a thunderstorm's gusty winds. A well-defined shelf cloud usually means severe thunderstorm wind gusts are soon to follow and may cause damage. Waterspout. South Florida gets many waterspouts. Most are very weak and dissipate as they reach the land. Some can even form without a thunderstorm. They look pencil thin and sometimes curvy. These do not cause much damage or threaten life unless in a boat. Every now and then, however, a true tornado will form over the water from a severe thunderstorm like the one back in 2012 in Juno Beach. These are very dangerous and you should seek shelter immediately if seen. Funnel clouds. Funnel clouds are normally an indication of a tornado forming. However, here in South Florida, we see a lot of funnel clouds that never touch the ground or cause damage. Tornadoes. Tornadoes in South Florida are typically weaker than in the Midwest, but can still be life-threatening and cause property damage. Seek shelter in a sturdy building, away from windows, and on the bottom floor. South Florida can see severe thunderstorms in any month, even the dry season, with late May through August having the most abundant thunderstorms each day. Any thunderstorm can be dangerous because when there's thunder, there's lightning, and lightning is the #1 weather killer here in South Florida. Just heed the warning: when thunder roars, go indoors. Meteorologist James Wieland, WPTV, News Channel 5.
A great way to track everything from rain to hurricanes is with our Storm Shield app. You can see live radar and sign up for live text alerts that will warn you when storms form and bad weather moves into your neighborhood. The Storm Shield app acts like a live weather radio on your phone or iPad. You can download it from our website, WPTV.com. Coming up next, what you need to know when preparing your home after a hurricane hits.
Save thousands during the Spring Price Break sales event at both Alpaca locations. Get a break on price and payment on our huge selection of new Fords. Get bottom line windshield pricing and your lowest out the door delivered price guaranteed. Like a new Focus, just $17,455 or $119 a month, or a new Fusion, $18,955 or $179 a month. It's the Spring Price Break sales event only at Alpaca Ford and Alpaca Ford West. And remember,
before you buy, price Packer.
There's a lot you can count on when you live in Florida. Sunny days, sandy beaches, and reliable electricity. At FPL, we're investing to build a stronger and smarter grid. And it's working. We've improved service reliability by about 20% in the last 5 years, and we're not stopping there. We're installing more than 20,000 intelligent devices along the smart grid to help detect and prevent problems before they become outages, so we can ensure your lights stay on in good weather and bad. At FPL, we're changing the current.
The amazing Memorial Day savings continue as Schumacher celebrates the great American holiday through June 1st. Every car, truck, and SUV sale priced. Schumacher Chevy is taking 15% off MSRP on select Chevy models. Right now, drive away a steel-tough Chevy Silverado with up to $10,000 off. Chevy Equinox up to $6,000 off. Only at Schumacher.
It's the Memorial Day sales event at Schumacher. Come join the family.
Welcome back. Before the hurricane season even started this year, we had our first named storm. Tropical Storm Anna made landfall in South Carolina at the beginning of May with sustained winds of 45 miles an hour. They caused some coastal erosion and not much else. But many asked, is this a sign of the season to come? We asked one hurricane expert if he could read anything into a May storm.
In terms of what that means for the rest of the season, it really doesn't mean anything. If you look at all the years it had storm formations in May, there's a few that were incredibly active and a few that were incredibly quiet, and there's a whole pile in the middle. So if you average them all out, it averages out to an average season, which is basically what to say is May storms really don't tell you anything about what's going to happen the rest of the season.
When a hurricane forms, we often get caught up in the numbers. Is it a Category 1, a 3, or possibly a 5? But hurricane experts warn not to focus solely on that number. As Storm Team 5's Tyler Mauldin reports, storms are made up of more than just the wind speed.
Hurricanes are one of Mother Nature's most fascinating and deadly of forces. Storms reach the first hurricane level when wind speeds reach 74 miles per hour and up, and they grow as the speed increases. They can cause roofs to tear apart, uproot trees, and snap power lines like twigs. Annually, hurricanes account for dozens of injuries, and according to NOAA, an average of almost 20 fatalities. In addition, one hurricane making landfall can cause several $1 billion in damage. But contrary to popular belief, it's not all about the wind. Hurricane specialist Michael Lowry explains.
Wind gets all of the attention when it comes to hurricanes, rightfully so, right? But there are other hazards even more deadly than the wind.
Hurricanes can spawn tornadoes, create major flooding, and cause life-threatening storm surge. The Saffir-Simpson wind scale for measuring hurricane strength doesn't always give an indication of how damaging it'll be. It ranges from 1, the weakest, to 5, the strongest. For example, Hurricane Katrina was a Category 1 when it hit Florida in 2005. And Hurricane Andrew, one of the most costly natural disasters in history, was a Category 5 when it struck South Florida in '92. The problem is this scale is based solely on wind speed. It doesn't incorporate all the other hazards. So you can't pay attention to just the number.
The fact of the matter is it's the weaker end storms are known to cause, in some cases, more damage, especially with rainfall.
We've witnessed this firsthand in South Florida. Tropical Storm Isaac dropped more than a foot of rain, which caused dangerous flooding in Wellington 3 years ago. So never let your guard down with any storm, and prepare for all possible scenarios this hurricane season. For WPTV News Channel 5, I'm meteorologist Tyler Mauldin.
It can be one of the biggest costs associated with a hurricane. That's the cost of repairing damage to your home. Our consumer watchdog, Jen Strathman, reports on the steps you should take when hiring someone to fix your home.
Out-of-state contractors flood our area after a storm. Before you hire the first contractor who knocks on your door, here's some watchdog wisdom.
Before you hire a contractor, make sure you protect yourself. So often I hear stories of things when they don't go as planned. But here's some watchdog wisdom to make sure things do go as planned. Anytime someone climbs a ladder at my house or does something hazardous, I always ask for a copy of their insurance before they begin any work. Just in case something goes wrong, I know I'm protected. Also, if you're putting on an entirely new roof or even something simple like changing out an air conditioner, you may need a permit. Make sure you check your county's website for a list of all the jobs where you need one. It's ultimately your responsibility. Don't rely on your contractor, because if you don't get a permit and later go to try to sell your house and you did a job where you needed one, you may have to pay some fines. A permit protects you because an independent inspector comes out to make sure the work is safe. Finally, make sure they are licensed. It's a simple search online. The license number is usually on your contract.
I'm consumer watchdog Jen Strathman, fighting for you.
You probably heard us talking about spaghetti models. Coming up, the change that's coming to improve their accuracy.
At Gilbert Chevy in Okeechobee, we can talk trucks all day. With over 200 in stock and Silverados at just $299 a month, we'll be talking to a lot of folks at Gilbert Chevy in Okeechobee.
Go to GilbertHasIt.com.
The Palm Beach Post is your local news leader, delivering complete coverage you can count on. More than just headlines, the Post uncovers important news, providing depth, analysis, and perspective on the stories that impact your life. With the largest local news team, the Post has more reporters to cover the news where you live. When you want the real story, there's only one source. The Palm Beach Post, in print, on your tablet and smartphone. The Palm Beach Post. Real news starts here.
You wish your dog could fight off fleas and ticks. But since he can't, you rely on Frontline Plus. Because Frontline Plus unleashes a deadly killing force to kill fleas and ticks, plus flea eggs and larvae, preventing a new infestation. Its protection lasts a full 30 days. No wonder Frontline Plus is the #1 choice of vets for their pets and yours. After all, your dog is a lover, not a fighter. Frontline Plus, the vet's #1 choice.
Gilbert Ford in Okeechobee has just announced additional discounts and rebates on 2014 F-150s. Save up to $10,000. Get on into Gilbert Ford in Okeechobee.
Come on, go to GilbertHasIt.com.
Welcome back. People seem to really like looking at the spaghetti models while they're tracking a storm. Each one of those lines represents a different forecast from a different computer model. Storm Team 5's Glenn Glazer tells us a change coming to one of those important computer models.
Although we look at numerous computer models during hurricane season, the two you probably hear the most about are the European model, known as the ECMWF, and the American model, known as the Global Forecast System, or GFS. Both are considered to be two of the best forecasting models in the world, but in 2012, the GFS had some trouble.
And it did face some criticism around the time of Sandy's landfall because the European model predicted the left turn into New Jersey a day earlier than the GFS model.
That misstep in Hurricane Sandy's forecast helped fast-track much-needed upgrades to the GFS.
So while we had scheduled increased supercomputer capabilities planned, Congress's support gave us kind of a shot in the arm and a boost in order for us to accelerate that increase in supercomputing capability.
The upgrades were finished earlier this year, and there are already noticeable differences.
Not just in the near term out to 3 to 5 days, but even out to 10 days, we maintain very high resolution and maintain high accuracy rates.
There have also been important upgrades made to the Hurricane Weather and Research Forecasting Model, also known as the HWRF. This is a model specifically designed to forecast tropical cyclones and has been performing better and better since 2012. But even the best computer models have good days and bad days.
You don't want to just put all your eggs in one basket. You want to look at a diverse set of computer models.
So we'll keep looking at all the data we can get our hands on this hurricane season, because that's the best way to keep you informed and keep you safe. Glenn Glazer, WPTV, News Channel 5.
If your property is damaged by a storm, you'll be contacting your insurance agent to make a claim and get your payment. Our consumer watchdog, Jen Strathman, shows you how you can make the process easier by just taking a few steps now.
Well, it's still sunny outside and the weather is calm. It's a good time to walk through your house with a camera. There are even free apps that allow you to keep track of exactly what's in your home. Take wide shots of rooms and close-ups of valuable items. You may even want to record a short video. All this makes it easier to file an insurance claim and prove exactly what's in your house and what it looks like. I'm consumer watchdog Jen Strathman fighting for you.
All right, coming up next, a look back at Hurricane Wilma. Plus, a new step the Hurricane Center is taking to protect you from the greatest storm threat to lives and property.
It's early morning. You're up because, well, the work never stops.
The weather team is so important to me because I need accurate, reliable information.
WPTV Storm Team 5, only in one neighborhood that matters, yours.
I have to know what and where the weather is happening.
Showcasing the storm from every angle.
I'm watching and waiting on that radar to find out what my afternoon's going to look like.
Storm Team 5, the only morning weather team. Today on 5 on WPTV News Channel 5.
It's the most complex computer ever created. It can reason. It can imagine. Its wiring contains 100 billion neurons and 100 trillion synapses. It's the human brain. And when it fails due to injury or disease, it requires medicine that matches the intricacies of the body's neurological system. It requires the Marcus Neuroscience Institute, with technology like intraoperative CT and MRI that's found in only a handful of programs nationwide. Medical expertise that represents the country's most accomplished neurosurgeons and neurologists, all in a new $52 million facility that provides this talent and this technology in one place at one time. The Marcus Neuroscience Institute at Boca Raton Regional Hospital, advancing the boundaries of medicine.
Welcome back. When a hurricane is heading this way, but there's another factor to consider, the storm surge. This year, the National Hurricane Center is putting more of a focus on storm surges. Storm Team 5's Lisa Vaughn explains how they're doing it and how it could help you.
One of these improvements you can expect to see this year will be in the way the Hurricane Center communicates the threat of storm surge, which is the abnormal rise of water generated by a storm.
We're going to be showing people more clearly than ever where the storm surge flooding from the ocean could occur, how far inland from the beach it could go.
This rise in water can cause devastating flooding, not just on the beachfront, but several miles inland. For example, during Hurricane Katrina, the major cause of deaths and devastation was the storm surge. We've heard the saying, hide from wind, run from water. So while the winds of a hurricane are obviously a huge threat to our lives and our property, many people can stay safe from the winds by staying inside a strongly built home with shutters on their windows. On the other hand, for areas facing a potentially deadly storm surge, evacuation is the only option. Storm surge is often considered the greatest threat to our lives and our property, but we don't have official watches and warnings for it. But now, that's about to change. This year, the Hurricane Center will start testing out a new storm surge warning system using a map like the one you see here. The highlighted areas will indicate a specific storm surge watch or warning, which will mean dangerous storm surge is possible within 48 or 36 hours. If you're in that storm surge warning area, you'll need to make plans to move out. Along with the potential storm surge flooding map, which debuted last year, this new storm surge warning map, in combination with the hurricane warnings for dangerous winds, will greatly help you and your family know exactly which threats will impact you in your own backyard. The Hurricane Center plans to make the new storm surge watch and warning system fully operational by 2017. I'm WPTV News Channel 5 meteorologist Lisa Vaughn.
We started our show looking at Hurricane Wilma, and on this 10th anniversary of the storm, we want to take a look back and show you some of the memorable moments of our coverage of Wilma. It is right over the island of Cozumel tonight. The winds 140, 150 miles an hour.
The forecast track still very much moving it into the western coast of Florida, which remains unchanged.
At this point, all of your preparations should be made.
Almost all the mobile homes are shuttered up. Boats are anchored and tied tight. Streets and briny breezes are bare.
I just want to let everyone know that weather conditions are going to go downhill very quickly this evening.
Wow, this is pretty tremendous here. This is the worst we've seen it here.
This is the worst part of the storm right now for Boca Point.
Keep waiting for the conditions to kind of improve here in Stewart, but I have to tell you that we're still getting hit with some pretty powerful wind and rain here.
This is the core. If you live in West Palm, we're all going to go through this together in the next few minutes.
This is the back edge of the eye wall here. Much more ferocious than the front edge of this storm.
This is a piece of plywood that came out of nowhere and basically struck the roof, came feet away from striking our photographer.
An hour and a half ago, we were driving through downtown Stewart. It was literally the calm before the storm.
How many so far do you know are without power at this moment?
We have about 1.7 million customers without power.
Storm has gone, but we want to show you some of the pictures that we have been getting into the newsroom.
This is the most active hurricane season ever recorded in history.
Should not be heading out on the interstate. Only emergency vehicles actually should be out at this time.
Now, those are just some of the initial pictures that we're showing you here immediately in the aftermath of Hurricane Wilma, which is just a memory for us now.
Lots of memories there. The key to surviving a storm is being prepared. We have the information you need to get ready for a storm, from what you need to do when a storm hits to the steps you need to take when it passes. You can find it all on WPTV.com. Just go to the weather section and then to the Hurricane Survival Guide. Whenever a storm forms, we'll be here tracking its path and advising you of the latest developments. You can rely on the Storm Team 5 meteorologist to get you through this hurricane season. Here's to hoping it's a quiet one.
This is amazing.
I love this car.
Real people are discovering surprising things at Chevy.
This is a road trip car.
We're sold. It's so pretty.
They're good-looking cars. It feels great.
Perfect. This is not what I would expect from a Chevy at all.
Get more than you expect for less than you imagined at the Chevy Memorial Day sale going on now. Get cash back for 15% of the MSRP on select 2015 models in stock the longest. That's over $4,000 on the Chevy Equinox. Hurry, sale ends Monday. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
When it's 5 o'clock on NewsChannel 5, you need to know what's happening right now. Steve Weagle with weather, safety, and accuracy right when and where you need it. WPTV NewsChannel 5. It's early morning, and you're up early because, well, the house is already stirring.
I have 4 kids. We're busy. I have to know when severe weather is coming.
WPTV Storm Team 5, only in one neighborhood that matters, yours.
Lisa and Glenn, they can be fun, but they really crack down when big things are happening.
Preparing, alerting, showing the storm from every angle, making sure weather doesn't get in your way. Storm Team 5, the only morning weather team. Today on 5, WPTV NewsChannel 5.
We do this ride every year. We've done it for 16 years. We've been raising so much money. This is fantastic.
$1,000. We're Red Cross.
$3,000. We love giving back to our community.
$52,500 this year.
The following is a paid program. WPTV assumes no responsibility for its content. The following